Hi friends, I'm Elisa with Fusion DIY. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am working on a piece that took me a couple of weeks to get completed. I actually got this piece from a former boss of mine that she found at Goodwill, and it sat in my family room for about 2 years until I actually had a vision for it. So I worked on it, and after I painted it, I realized that there was a lot of chips in the paint and things that just needed to be repaired. So I puttied and I sanded and I puttied and I sanded and I puttied and I sanded. And so finally now, after about 3 weeks, the piece is finally done. And I think that you're going to like the piece as it is now. But take a look, watch the video to the end, and let me know your comments down below. Here we go. So here is the piece that my former boss found for me at a Goodwill. You can see that it is in pretty rough condition. There's a lot of chips to the paint, and it had this faux distressed look to it. It had, like, I don't know, it looks like it was, there were carvings in the top right there, you can see, and it was just in really rough condition. But I knew the shape was very unusual, along with the tray on the top, and I thought that it would definitely be an item that would sell quickly once it got a little bit of a refurbish. So I am going to work on it and see how it turns out. The drawers were all in good working order, and for the most part they were clean. There were no stains. It just needed to be, they needed to be vacuumed and cleaned up a little bit, but again, something that's a very simple and quick fix. So always, 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 before you begin painting, you need to clean your piece of furniture. That is so imperative because you don't want to be painting over dirt. And here is a perfect example of why you want to clean before you start painting. So once it was clean, I sanded it down to get rid of the chips of paint that were peeling off this piece. And I think that this was a paper that was applied over the top because it came off very, very easily. It wasn't like it was paint. But nonetheless, I gave it a good sanding. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to use my Fusion mineral paint in the color Victorian Lace, which is a beautiful gray-white. And here is the piece after the first coat of the Fusion paint. It turned out beautiful, and I love this paint because it's got the built-in top coat, so you don't have to do another poly over the paint once you're done. So I'm going to use the Garden Whispers transfer from Redesign with Prima. I absolutely love these birds. I think they're just so pretty. The hardest part, I find, with using transfers is trying to decide how you want to lay out your transfers. So what I did was I cut a bunch of the transfers up into smaller, manageable pieces, and I started to lay them out on the piece to kind of get an idea of what I wanted to, how I wanted to lay things out. And really that's going to be the toughest part, is laying it out, trying to figure out what's going to work for you and what's not going to work. So this takes time and it takes patience. So, allow yourself that time to play around with it and come up with a design that works for your piece. Once I had an idea of where I wanted to put the pieces, I started to then adhere the transfer. If you've never used a transfer before, it is so simple. You simply peel off the backing and then you're going to lay the piece down, and once you've laid it down, you're committed. You can't pick it up again because you're going to tear the transfer. So you just take your transfer stick and you just rub the transfer onto your piece of furniture and it transforms it. I'm not an artist, so I can't draw. So this is the next best thing. But I'm going to give you a close-up here of how I do this, and this is a speeded up version. Don't go this fast because you will potentially tear your transfer, but it just kind of gives you an idea of just how easy it is to get really beautiful results with just a little bit of effort. So you're going to press down with your transfer stick, and if anything doesn't transfer, you're going to lay it back down and just continue to rub until the parts that were not sticking then adhere to the piece. And then, just like that, you have this beautiful transfer on your piece of furniture. Then I took a box cutter and I made the cut where the drawers open and just made sure that all of that transfer was pressed down so that it doesn't come up. And then I also made the cut on the second drawer just to make sure that there was no issues with the drawer opening. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is one of those processes that just takes time and it takes a little bit of vision. It's not hard, but it definitely achieves amazing results. And here's another video of me applying the transfer to the bottom right of the dresser drawer or of the cabinet drawer. So once I got all of that done, and I thought it turned out just beautiful, I added a couple of butterflies on it, and I thought, wow, it just really is so pretty. Then I started to look at what do I want to do with the top of the piece. And that's a tray up there, so I wanted to make sure that I put something on the tray to break up all of the white, but by the same token, I didn't want to have anything hidden if somebody wanted to put a lamp on there. So again, I played around with the placement of the transfers until I came up with a design that I was satisfied with. One of the really great things about transfers is that you can layer them. So here I'm taking a bird and I just want to make it look like the bird was sitting on the branch of the flowers, and so I just put the bird there and transferred him on to look like he was sitting on the branch. So now here is the finished top, and I think it turned out pretty. Again, I didn't put too much in the middle in case somebody wanted to put a lamp up there. And here is the finished project. I think it turned out great.
So what did you think about the piece? I thought it turned out beautiful. I absolutely love the transfers against the white paint, and it just turned out so pretty. Sometimes your piece will take a while for you to tell you what it wants to be, and this took a couple of years, but I'm very grateful for the outcome, and it is now available in my shop here at Fusion DIY, 57 Bridge Street in Milford, New Jersey. So if you live in the western New Jersey or eastern Pennsylvania area, come down, take a look through the shop. There's a lot to see. I have a lot of furniture artists that are here, and we'd love for you to take a look at some of the beautiful things that we have, in addition to some glassware and plates and things like that. Again, this is my shop, and I absolutely love what I do, and I'm so grateful to be able to share with you the transformation of pieces that otherwise would end up in a landfill. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that each time I release another video, you'll be notified. Again, thanks so much. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you soon. Bye, friends.